The Voice referendum is only a week away now. Australians have already started to cast their ballots. Joining me now is the Nationals MP Keith Pitt. Keith, you have a pre-polling update in your electorate of Hinkler. How many people have already made their decision?
Jaycee, great to be with you. But we've had 16,000 plus through in just 3 days on pre-poll. Now, that's more than 13%. And, depending on what turnout is like in terms of how many voters actually make the effort to come down and have their say, it could be even higher than that. Plus postals, we expect that there's going to be an enormous amount completed before we get to the actual day on the Saturday.
So this is much higher than you saw at the federal election?
My electorate is one of the highest in the country for pre-polls usually, but even for us, I think this is unusual. And I would say to everyone that's watching your show, I know there's passionate people out there, and I know that they're all for their individual position, whether it's yes or no, but I just need them to calm down. We had an incident at a Hervey Bay booth yesterday where I'm told we had a yes volunteer throw an A-frame at one of the no volunteers, hit them in the shins. There's just no need for this stuff. Put your case, hand out your flyers, be polite and respectful, as most of us and most Australians would expect. There's just no need for this stuff, and let's get through this and see what the result is.
Yeah, so what is your read on this, Keith? If it's a high pre-poll number, is this, people getting in because they are firmly no, or is this people getting in because they are firmly yes? I know there's always a bit of psychology and theory around this kind of early voting. What's your theory?
Well, in a political campaign, when you're looking to change or not change the government, you do get the very keen ones, sometimes the angry ones out early, but this is just maintained right through those first 3 days. If these numbers keep up, it usually says that there's a very solid position from the people and everyone I've got on booze. And we're struggling for volunteers, to be honest, because it's just so divisive. They're telling me that the no case is really, really strong. In fact, they're saying it's incredibly strong, stronger than they expected. But we're just one area. It's a big country and people are entitled to their view.
Yep, they certainly are. And it's not just in the regional areas. There has been a lot of data. Anecdotally, I'm seeing this as well because I live in one of the areas, and that is the Teal seats in Sydney. There is a strong no sentiment as well in the suburbs, in the so-called elite electorates, you might call them, Keith.
I wouldn't want to call any Australians elite, I've got to say, Laura. It's not my backyard, but I think people understand it. And this is the mistake I think Anthony Albanese has made. The mob will always work you out, and they think they're trying to be tricky with the proposal. They wanted to see more data, they wanted to see more information, and most importantly, they wanted to see a bipartisan position, but we just couldn't support what was put up.
I know, but I can't see how you would have ever got to it. I mean, half of the right don't even want to see recognition in the Constitution because they don't want any race-based provisions there. So it's hard to see how that would happen. What about Justice French today? He's a respected former High Court judge. He points out that the power, according to this change, always remains with the Parliament, and the Parliament is a check on the executive. Why would you want to give up that power?
Well, I actually read that story, and as I've read others who have a completely different and, in fact, the opposite view.
I know.
And I
so
can
we're all
only talk from
looking.
personal
This is where
experience.
we've got to, haven't we, Keith? We're all just looking for our own facts.
Well, I can only base it on my own experience, Laura, and what I've seen in previous portfolios. I mean, look at the Woodside decision. The country desperately needs gas. It takes years to bring it on. They've spent billions of dollars in terms of development, committed some 15 billion US to develop that project.
But what's that
and all
got
of a
to
sudden
do with
they
this?
find themselves. Well, it's been tipped upside down by the Environmental Defenders Office, who are supported by Labor with the taxpayers' money, and an Indigenous claim around whale dreaming and whale songlines, which I've never heard of. I don't know if they exist or not. But how is it possible we could have people invest in this country into the future if they don't have certainty? We can't keep having these changes brought forward that kill projects in Australia after decisions have been made and after approvals have been made.
This is the problem, though. Like, these issues are being conflated, I think, unfairly. Like, that's got nothing to do with the Voice. And in fact, it's happening without the Voice. Perhaps it might improve things.
Well, that's the exact point. I mean, these are facts. These have actually happened. And it's happened not just there. It's happened with Barossa and Santos. It's happened with any number of onshore projects.
Yeah.
And I've got an issue in Burrum Heads right now, Laura, with native title. where
I know,
I've been
but what I'm
advised.
saying is, like, what's it got to do with the voice? Because it's happening now. Are you saying the voice is going to make these claims worse? There's no evidence for that, is there? I'm happy for you to provide it.
It'll provide a constitutional power. That is the reading. That the Constitution will require particular things to occur. And that is another mechanism for claim which the Parliament can't override. In fact, it says in the proposal, subject to the Constitution. I'm no lawyer. I just see what happens when lawyers get involved.
All right. Well, let's listen to this lawyer today. It's always good to talk to you, by the way. I've got to leave it there. But we will... Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It's just a time thing. We'll see you soon, Keith.
Great with you.